All right, so what we got here is Battle for Kylo. It's going to be a 3-point capture the hill kind of setup. It's the first team to 500. Right now we're seeing the match just kick off. We're waiting for those gates to open to unleash death on the enemy. Now, yesterday what we saw was a lot of splitting by ArenaNet. What would happen was they were sending 2 people out to one capture point. One person was running interference and trying to support the other points whenever needed. It looks right up here. We're going to have a little bit of a combat. We got Lich Form right there. That's Chaplain there, I believe. He's got a bunch of different skills he can use when he's in that form. Fear, you can summon some minions. Of course, general damage. Oh, it looks like there's another Lich in the area now. It looks like they're going to be battling it out over this capture point. And again, the red team is ArenaNet, the blue team is Boon Control. It looks like red team, ArenaNet has 2 capture points. One of them is still neutral, though.
Tell us a little bit about the general strategy for this map, like the capture points and a trebuchet.
Yeah, there's trebuchet on the map that for each side, basically, where they're able to repair this and they're using it to their advantage. They're able to bring in big, huge fiery boulders from across the map, slamming it into the enemy forces, blowing everybody back, doing massive damage to everybody in the radius. It looks like now the center point's been neutralized, and it looks like ArenaNet has all 3 capture points. Boon Control's over there. They're trying to get back in this here. As you can see, it's pushing 80-0. Little fight here in the clock tower. This is a great place for trebuchets to come in and start slamming into the terrain, blowing everybody back out. But it looks like Boon Control's going to have to back out of there. But ArenaNet is chasing them down. The general strategy is definitely you want to stay mobile. You don't want to be locked down too long, because if you're in combat too long, then you're giving up a lot of time that you can be using to neutralize those capture points or capture those capture points.
So, I mean, it seems like Chap is doing like a great job there on his Necro. So what is the general, if you play a Necro in PvP, like tell me a little bit about like strategies, or like what are the strengths and weaknesses of a Necromancer in PvP?
Yeah, with the Necro, they're very versatile. They're able to inflict a bunch of damage in a lot of conditions, such as poisons or bleeding. They can also have a slight crowd control advantage as well, because they can fear people out, which makes them all run in different directions away from the area. So they can be played as a decent support. But as you can see, he can hold his own pretty good, but that thumper turret there in the center of the capture point is constantly pulsing from time to time, doing damage, potentially a knockback which blows them out of the radius. And it looks like 2 points have now been neutralized, so Boon Control's definitely putting pressure on, and they're starting to defend. It seems like Boon Control they're taking a capture point and they're leaving someone behind to make sure that ArenaNet can't sneak in and take it. I think that it might be a little bit of a struggle here, though, because the Necro does have a lot of different crowd control that they're able to basically just keep him busy.
So considering it's a 5 versus 5 match and you have like 3 capture points on the map, and you also have to keep an eye on the trebuchet, like talk a little bit about like valid tactics or like different approaches that you can do to approach the match.
Well, with this map, there's a lot of different ways you can attack. My favorite way to go at it is I normally send 2 people to the back line, so that way they can kind of interrupt and they can definitely spice things up on the enemy capture points. I send 1 guy to kind of bounce between the 2 capture points, both on the enemy side and in the center point. And if they actually start using their trebuchet and bringing in rain and fire and death, then I send that guy out there to stop that, while the other 2 people are maintaining our home capture points. There's just so many different strategies, though, that you've got to adapt, and you've got to really be quick and understand what the enemy's doing at times.
So you mentioned like first team to 500 points wins.
Yes,
What do you get? Where do you get the points for?
Well, you get minimal points for kills. It's really about controlling those 3 areas. Each point is giving you points over time, so when you have 2 of them, it's very easy to get a commanding lead as long as you hold those 2. However, you can easily make it up off of 1 capture point and making sure that you get a lot of kills, so it really just depends on the type of play style and what classes you're bringing to the fight. Yeah, as you can see here, we've got Meteor Shower there. It looks like they're going to try and push up to the center clock tower. I'm not sure if they're going to have enough force to get that. Oh yeah, there's 2 reds right there. ArenaNet's going to be able to hold this. It looks like they've got a Warrior and a Guardian.
Yeah, especially because Tirza is on that Guardian, right?
Oh yeah, Tirza.
Tell me a little bit about Tell me a little bit about Guardian in.
Oh wait, never mind. The Boon Control's got quite a few people there. They're probably going to be able to wipe ArenaNet out of this area unless they get some help. It looks like a nice 3-on-3 going on there, just begging for a Lich or a Tornado. As you can see, the Guardian put down their shield in the center, which is constantly pushing them out of the radius, which makes it very difficult for anybody to get in there and do any kind of damage to them. Right there, the bubble again. It looks like that was Boon Control's Guardian dropping his elite now, pushing all of the ArenaNet people out of the radius. This capture point has been neutral for the majority of the game now, I'm thinking. That was a Trebuchet that just came in and blasted all of them back again. It looks like, oh, they were able to revive. Here comes, this is just a long, bloody battle in the center. There's a stomp right there. It looks like ArenaNet just finished off one of the Boon Control.
I mean, we don't see the Trebuchet here, but the Trebuchet can have, like, I've seen comments yesterday after our match that people say, like, well, it seems like the Trebuchet is kind of useless, which is actually not the case, right? You might want to correct that.
That is not the case at all. A well-placed Trebuchet shot can just decimate the enemy team. It does that incredible damage, and it blows everybody out of the radius, which, I mean, in this game, it is all about keeping them out of those rings, and if they're able to get in there and neutralize them, you start losing points. The Trebuchet, it's a great splitting mechanic where you cannot clump up and move as one. You have to split in order to control the points and stop them from hitting you with that Trebuchet. It's very important that if the enemy team is using it, you get in there and you stop them from using it. There we go. It looks like Boon Control now has 2 points back on the map. One of them is being contested. Whenever the icons at the top there are blinking with swords, there's definitely some kind of combat going in there. It looks like we got a Warrior here from Boon Control. Oh, but looks like the Necro just teleported out of there. Oh, but the Warrior jumps right back on top of him, and gonna have to use Lich Form again to see if he can't get him off. But this is gonna be it for him. He is down. We're gonna have to see if he can get a stomp out of that, though. He's gonna have to hobble away. When you're down, you still have skills you can use to try and bring yourself back into it. If you down an enemy, or if somebody comes by and revives you, there's still a chance that you can get back in the fight.
So it's a viable tactic to basically not finish your opponent off by letting him leave him on the ground?
It's really risky to not finish him off, because if you don't finish him off, it's very easy for an ally to come in and get them right back up on their feet. They have downed abilities where they're able to get back on their feet for a short amount of time to get some distance on you. It's very dangerous. It can pay off because it makes it a longer wait time for them to get back into battle. But as a Warrior, if you're downed and you get Vengeance up, your damage goes through the roof, and you are a killing machine at that point. It is really important to stomp certain classes. Here we can see here another big fight in the middle. There's the Guardian bubble. It's going to push everybody out of it. That looks like a great place for it. As you can see him just lurching forward there. It looks like ArenaNet is actually going to be in trouble. There was a Trebuchet shot right there, knocking them all out. This is going to be a very bloody fight. There's a stomp right there by John Peterson. Oh, but he rallied just in time before the stomp actually fully went off. This is going to be immense. This is... we need another Trebuchet shot there, blow them all out. I'm not sure the Warrior's going to... the Warrior is down, but you got 2 enemies down now. They're just lobbing rocks at each other, waiting for an ally to help them out.
It's looking pretty good for our boys and girls, right? It's looking pretty good for our team at the moment.
ArenaNet is definitely looking like they're going to pull this one through. It is not impossible to come back from this situation. I've seen it a lot of times, especially when they were scrimmaging each other, but I don't know. It really just depends if Boon Control is going to be able to play a defense on all those points that they're able to cap. As you can see, ArenaNet's got 2 at the top, and right now the neutralized one is in the center point.
Yeah, there's 6 points now 4 points now from winning this first match.
Yeah.
And there we go. ArenaNet won the first match.